Tony and Maite. Thank you guys for joining us here for Portrait of a Power Couple, and for coming out. And you've all big up for hosting the spot here. I've been wanting to talk to you for a while. We've kind of known each other for a bit, and I know a bit about you, but I'd love to get it on the record if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Yep. I think we met you I don't know, I was thinking about it. Didn't we meet you at YoSpace back in the day?
Like 6 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember.
Only? I thought it was even more, but maybe it was 6 years ago.
Maybe a little bit more. I know my daughter was just recently born.
Okay.
And my wife and I were taking our first
night out.
I
think I remember that because I think he's saying that.
Yeah, we had our in-laws, my in-laws watching her, so that was cool. But I mean, I know I've obviously seen your guys around and, heard about your music and stuff, so appreciate you guys making this happen. Well, I wanted to ask you a question, which I know the answer to, but
Skip it.
Well, why don't I?
No, ask it.
Okay. Well, for you guys, I know that your relationship came before you're working together. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
This weekend celebrates 29 years?
Whatever Easter.
No, that's I would say that's when it finalized. We were really young, and I remember Tony took me out to meet his family on Easter Sunday, and it was the first time I ate a ham.
Like honey baked ham.
I never ate that before in my life.
Was that the last time?
No, wait.
No, I mean, I will say I don't eat it off ever,
just kidding.
barely, but
Yeah.
I just remember the whole situation. I was like, ham? Okay.
Wow, that's cool. Very
With
cool.
pineapple.
Yeah, that's how my mom's. Very cool. So 29 years together, and
Yep.
you recently celebrated 16 years as a band together. Is that right? Last December?
13, 14, I don't know.
Since
15 years?
Well, it's 15 years as a band. And
15 years.
Yeah, last year. So now I guess we're on our 16th.
Coming up on 16.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Great. And so it took you a while to get to working together. When as far as your relationship developing, what inspired you guys to collaborate?
Well, I was invited to do some drums for a friend of ours show over at Hollywood Art and Culture Center. And Maite had just started playing the bass, just getting the feel of it from out of nowhere. She just said she wanted to start playing bass. And then so I asked the artist if she could play, and I was just we're just gonna do a straight, just beeline, a song, you know what I mean? And so I had another friend of ours playing with us, and so it kind of started with that.
Kind of improvised, or
it was improvised? Yeah. Well, there was a small body,
there was
a
things
small
that we
structure,
had structure,
yeah.
and then in between it there was improvisation because
Yeah.
I wasn't willing to just totally go in there and improvise. I was I
Yeah.
need a little structure.
Just some body, just something to go back to. There was always a reference point, is really what we would consider a reference, So from there, and then we did a couple of shows after that, and then in March of 2009, I guess, because this was all 2008 into 2009 or whatever, and then we were playing at a show, and our friend was just questioning some things or whatever, and so yeah, we just started playing together. It was just both of us starting to play together. It was awesome. I don't know. That's kind of how it started.
We just went on the road. I think I was
Yeah.
screw it, let's just play a bunch of shows,
Yeah.
and we did a bunch of art and music things on the road, and
Yeah.
up to New York, I think, or Maryland or something.
Yeah, went to New York, Maryland, played a show in Virginia. And then one of our first shows was actually at a Hot Topic in Virginia. So,
in a mall.
yeah. Well, as far as changing the music into the direction it went into, you know what I mean? Breaking out of that improvising that we were doing. And turning into Pocket of Lollipops and all that.
So by that time you had put a label on the band?
Yeah, it was Pocket of Lollipops,
Before we left, yeah.
It was in February or March of 2009 is when that's when we came up with the name.
Yeah, I was we need a name.
Or
and
put the name to it, we'll see.
And he had come home with some idea of a name, and then I was we should use that for something. And I was
That was
what
fun.
about the band? Yeah. But we had worked together before on other projects. I used to do all the art for a lot of his bands, and
She
the
did
promotion
stage setup.
and stage, their setup and stuff, more the art side of it.
Yeah.
We have an email list from one of my old bands from '99, And it's
On
just
paper.
on paper, and it's just like done at this place called the Warehouse Cafe that was out in Kendall. But it's crazy to see like who they were using back then, like AOL or Hotmails and all these like crazy weird. So
I use AOL. What are you trying to say? I'm just joking.
well, I mean,
No, just looking back at
No,
all
no,
the
for sure.
emails.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're
People
seeing-
used to AIM or whatever, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
Exactly.
It's like all these
AOL,
weird-
it's Messenger or whatever. Like,
Yeah, it's so crazy.
no, it's for sure. And how many of those bands are still together from that list?
Oh no, these aren't bands. These are
Like-
fans.
Oh, fans.
Yeah,
Oh,
these are like fans
got you.
emails.
Oh, I got you.
I
You
should
know.
try to email them actually.
Yeah.
That's a good
Send a
question. I
blast.
wonder.
Yeah.
Some people still use those
Hey,
accounts. Like I have
30 years
my
later.
MSN account like forwarded to my other account because it was like an account that I used to use.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to let go of some of those accounts.
Well, some people have that because some people don't have your number or something because I would only communicate via email. So
Well, I still have like in my email letter my J762, which is an email I've had since '97, and I clicked on it not too long ago. And I was like, gosh, I don't even know what I would just like nonsensical
Full of
stuff.
spam. Probably.
Yeah,
some of it, yeah. Every once in a while, I'll get something.
Yeah.
So.
it's just funny to see it's still alive. You know.
And the lollipops thing, you guys would often throw out lollipops at your gigs, or?
We didn't throw them. We'd hand them out. Throwing would cause problems.
I threw them once or twice. I think I
Yeah.
hit someone,
Yeah.
so then we stopped. But we've passed them out, or we've put them like in the center. And I think a few times I did like a display with them on a mirror, and people had to grab them. So we've done stuff, and then I have a bunch of lollipops now prepared for our next shows.
Yeah.
So we try to bring them. Sometimes we forget, and people are like, "Where are the lollipops?" I'm like, "I forgot." So I try because I don't like to keep them in the. You don't want to keep that in the car.
Yeah,
Like the car's hot. So it's like I have to keep them in an area in the house and make sure that I don't,
A
lose
cool, dry
them.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah, we upgraded to a potato cannon.
A potato cannon, I wish.
What about at the Feria Clandestina? You guys had the slingshot. Have you guys done that before?
Yeah, 2015.
Yeah, we did it for another show at YoSpace actually, and it was like so it was same thing except I think we had more dates.
It was a residency thing we did in 2015. We just did a month-long programming type thing. But that was from the exhibition. We did have one.
We had artwork
had
up there. We
artwork,
did
but
like
we
a
had
little
the
group
carpet
show
thing
and we performed. But the show at Clandestino was more like I guess the history of Pocket of Lollipops and things that we have done in the last few years from what I remember. And we always wanted to bring the slingshot lollipop back. I told him, he was like, no, he didn't want it. I'm like, no, we have to. It's so much fun.
Why didn't you want to bring it back?
So gross.
Yeah, it is. It's gross in a good way.
But you have like hand sanitizer there. Or something.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
had
yeah, but
wipes and-
we had a sink and people could wash their hands. But I think what happens is people get so into it, you're not like thinking about it because you're like, ah. So at some point, like I'm like, how many of these lollipops did I help? Like helping people, like I'm like, yeah, this is pretty gross. So I'm like, don't put my hands anywhere else. Tony would not have any of it. I told him, I'm like, you don't have to touch anything. Even when we cleaned up, I cleaned up the whole thing because I knew he was not going to have it. Like he wasn't even there yet.
I
And I'm
scraped
like,
them off the floor.
well, yeah, but
With the cardboard, it's so good. They were like melted like on the last day.
But I tried to pick. I have video, so I plan to
So
release a video of everybody in the slingshots and all that. I haven't had the opportunity to put it together, but maybe in the next few months. Because I always missed that from the first show we did, the lollipops. I didn't get enough video of people like doing it, but I think we would do it again. And I see further with that lollipop installation. I already told them. So it will happen. There'll be more. Like you'll be able to get a piece of the carpet with the lollipops. And I wanna. What do I want to do?
She wanted to like resin.
I want to
like
put resin.
like a
So
resin on
imagine
it.
the big carpet, but then people have different sections.
Right.
So that's the plan.
That's cool. Like
But
a
that
little,
next time.
yeah, like a memento, a little puzzle that breaks apart.
Yeah.
Very cool. And there at that event, you say it was kind of a retrospective of your guys' career and stuff, old photos and
Yeah, I brought the flyers out, all of our albums, anything
Some of the original artworks. and-
yeah, as much as I could. I didn't want to we had a lot of stuff. Like when I got there, I was like, oh my God, we can't put everything. Because then it's like too much stimulation and then you don't get to enjoy it. But yeah, we had a lot of stuff. And then we had some of our 1 or 2 personal artworks that maybe don't fully connect to the band, but I think it's also
our
important
stuff.
to see our individual stuff because I think that's also what makes our band that, you know, like we're open to each other's works.
Do you always design your own like album covers and stuff?
No, we've worked with other artists, but we have done a few. Yeah.
And Tony, you do art as well? I remember you mentioning that you write.
Yeah.
You also dabble in some arts?
Yeah, I do more. I mean, most of the art I do now has just been connected to the books that I did, or like maybe some flyers or something like that. But I don't have like a practice right now where I'm sitting around and drawing, and I have a new collection of stuff. Haven't really created a body of anything in 6 years, 10 years, or something.
No, you made all those pieces, the big ones that we actually use for our background.
Okay, fine. Silk screening. Yeah. Well, then that's different. Yeah, but I think that was then yes. So I guess I do stuff. But this was just me messing around with like empty silk screens and just doing tape patterns and then just just doing colored patterns on papers and stuff.
But we
and-
used it for a backdrop for
Yeah,
one of
we
our
have.
performances because I thought they were great.
awesome.
And a
But,
few
yeah.
of them sold, and he didn't think anybody would buy them, and that's what we were
Yeah,
somewhere.
So I wouldn't.
He doesn't
I
think
think
of
that
himself
was-
as an artist,
I
but
think-
I'm always like, you're such an
I
artist.
don't think I think I was just kind of screwing around because it was a short. It was like a 1 week thing. You know what I mean? It's not like I continued it and like created this like if I wasn't thinking about anything else, like I could.
It wasn't 1 week, but that's fine.
It was like a week.
You get inspired in the moment and you just do something.
I think we were just screwing around with some ripped stickers or something on it at first, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." So
I just had a
started-
bunch of empty silk screens that I
Yeah.
wasn't ready to make T-shirts, so he was doing a bunch of stuff. But it wasn't a week. You have a bunch. I think he doesn't realize that he was in there. You were in there for a while
That's
in the
fine.
garage, but yeah.
But I think my art also, I started paying more attention to like recording our stuff and getting more into like just the sound stuff and like what it all means to just doing more research like on just mixing things and the audio stuff and we did Houndstooth Cottage. We have Houndstooth Cottage, so I was recording bands. We have a radio show, so like those are all little like side projects that keep my head stimulated. Like I like that part of. I like talking to people. I like sharing stories. I've always liked history, so I like the radio show keeps my head busy and putting together shows.
Is that your show, or do you do it as a couple together? The
It's our
turntables and the
Yeah,
Treehouse?
it's like both of us. Like we switch off. Like she picks a lot of the playlist.
Strictly vinyl?
It was at first. But it was just. I mean, that's just. I don't know. I'd have to have a fucking crazy record collection to be on this strictly vinyl type thing. So,
Not all of it, but I'll say I think out of every show, maybe 50 to 60% is strictly vinyl, and then a few songs aren't.
Yeah,
So-
there's some things you just can't.
And then I'm always
find,
like sometimes he'll lead what music gets played that Sunday, is a Saturday, and then I'll lead. I'll be like, I'm gonna do the music this time, or I'm like, I have 6 songs for you. So it depends on what it is, but
Very cool.
Yeah, but like over COVID, and even before COVID, but over COVID, we did a lot of interviews on people and
On the show?
from the show. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So we were able to talk to a lot of like '90s bands that I was into, and some of like a lot of the DC people and shit like that. So we were.
Who's a band that you can mention off the top of your head?
Well, we talked to Scream. We talked to, Archie Moore from Velocity Girl. We talked to Shudder to Think. We did a radio show for the 200th Discord release, which was a box set, which was the first 6 vinyls they put out. So we had like a 10-person between all the bands from like, none of the Minor Threat guys showed up, but like Scream and Government Issue and. We had a bunch of those guys on there. I've talked to Steve Albini, Jad Fair, Kevin Eastman.
were they all for the radio show? Yeah, I guess they
They
were
were
for
all
the
for the
radio
radio show,
show.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very
So that also, once I started doing that, like the radio shows just like expanded into like what the catalog is because they're telling me about new music. So I'm sharing what they're telling me, the music they're talking about,
Amazing.
you know.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, but yeah, that keeps me busy. So I think that's kind of what my art is. It's just that type of organizing playlists and shit and conversations and organizing.
And how many bands do you represent on the label? And are they all local or?
I don't want to say represent. We
release.
we have an interest in bands, so we like people and we like
Yeah,
their music.
we've really, I mean,
Yeah,
we've
we've
definitely
released
released
about
a lot of
25
stuff.
albums.
Yeah. Because we, you know, we also know what it is to be a band, and it's hard to like, you know, if they feel like they need to do something else or record with someone else, or they have the opportunity. Like if we had the opportunity to do something, we would do it. So we don't want to like tie anybody down either, you know. So, but their music is available, and it's cool to work with all those people and see how everybody's approach is to actually like the creative process and how they record, because you know, for us it's like we're like watching them, we're like, oh, we don't do things like that, you know. So it is different, and it's like a kind of like an experience that we get to learn from also, I think.
Yeah.
Watching other people.
But do you do the engineering then, or?
Oh,
Yeah.
You do, yeah.
Yeah, we record it. We do all the, you know, the mixing, the mastering, and the printing of it, and you know, we'll put them out on cassette and CD normally. And we've done a couple, well, one vinyl release from another band.
But they did that recording. So I
They
think we
did the
only have
recording.
like 2 bands that did their
Well,
own.
There's a few. We did a bunch of stuff from Miami, and then obviously when COVID showed up, you couldn't bring anybody else in. And then during the interviews, I interviewed High Cameras, the guy from, well, his name's Adam Wade, but I did a drummer's interview. Just like I pulled in a bunch of my favorite drummers from like, you know, Slint and, you know, the guy from Hum and, you know, Shudder to Think and whatever. And then, so we were interviewing them, and then Adam got in touch with me a couple weeks later, and because he knew about the label, and he's like, would you be interested in putting out an album that we did? You know, and this is, for me, I've been listening to this guy play drums since I was like 18 years old, so of course, fucking whatever you need, you know what I mean? Like, let's do this. So it was really cool to have someone reach out to someone doing something that him and his friends inspired me to do. You know, he's part of the Discord label, you know, so he was in Jawbox and he was in Shudder to Think. So he, to have someone like them ask us to do something that they were doing, it's like, fuck yeah, you know?
Did you see Shudder to Think when they played at Lollapalooza?
No, no, but we did.
Was that like the 3rd Lollapalooza or something?
Yeah, did you see him?
I did, yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, in 2018, we actually did at our house, we did a photo show of Craig Wedren, which Craig Wedren's a singer for Shudder to Think.
Yeah, guy's amazing.
Yeah, so his, and then he
He did a
came, he performed
performance.
at our house, and
No
he
way.
was like, this is my first performance in Miami since Lollapalooza.
Get out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have video. I'll
So
share it
if-
with you. I
if-
have
if-
stuff.
if
It was
you
really
would've-
nice.
Yeah,
If
that
you
was like
would've been at that show,
1992 or
yeah,
93, I think.
If you would have been at that show, you would have seen the only 2 times that man played Miami.
Wow. Very cool.
So,
You guys got some really nice experiences and connections that you.
yeah, it's fun. And anyway, so this is where we're going with the releasing of the album. So yes, before all that was all bands that we would record and release, but then after that, since the recording and all that became a problem, and getting people together and just the health factors, whatever, you know, and then after making those connections with those interviews, I was able to, you know, do like, you know, small releases on cassette from other bands and stuff
nice.
like that, from like, you know, like Chris Matthews, and he plays in Shudder to Think also, and then, you know, Bobby Faye, who played in Sebado, and so, you know, little things like that. So that connection was made. So it was nice to bridge that little gap of introducing Miami's local bands to these people. You know what I mean?
Really
Because, you know, they go through the catalog too, like, oh, fun stuff. So, you know, but that's Houndstooth Cottage.
It's amazing, man. Great. And no, I love that. And I wanted to ask you guys about your relationship with Nuria Richards. How did you start working on the Feria Clandestina?
I think I met her. So I'm part of an art table organization that she's also a part of, which I think it's like people in the art world that are curators, educators, and stuff like that. So I met her at some event, but I think didn't connect that I met her before, and then Tony met her somewhere.
We were doing. I actually. How did this work out? She was doing an event during Art Basel at one of these other hotels.
The Noxon?
The which one?
The Noxon?
I don't even remember.
It was
which
the
one
year
are you talking
before
about?
Clandestina.
Oh, okay.
It was the year before
So it was a
Clandestina.
bit 3 or 4 years ago.
Right, so she was having a party over at this hotel where everything was outside, you know.
Okay.
And I found her online right before, just as like someone who was involved in the art scene, or however it was, like a people you may know, whatever it is. And then I shared her a group show thing of something that I was doing, and then I shared the band with her. Hey, if you ever want something, because I saw she was just doing some cool shit, you know. And then she told us about that event, so we went to go introduce ourselves, and then we just kept talking from there.
That's
really.
right, I remember.
Oli show.
With our friend Oli was playing. Yes, and that's
Yeah.
how it worked
It
out,
was
because
during
he
our
told
pause.
me, and then, but I think, wasn't COVID had just
It was
happened?
during COVID.
So it was
this was the
right,
first Basel during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So everyone was outside sitting on their cars. It was like a parking lot party.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So and then from there we just kept communicating, and then she did the first Clandestina one was with the other group together, and that was basically built off of group shows, a collabo show.
Mm-hmm.
And since I had already proposed to her a group show, she was like, "Well, this is fantastic because this is a group show, or you know."
Because we had it in the
collaborative
works for a few years,
thing. Yeah.
and then when
it was
COVID
just
happened,
tough.
people were able just to like send us everything, and
Yeah.
everybody couldn't come down because
Mhm.
it was the first show from COVID, but it was,
Well, the 2021 show, people still weren't coming out because it was still like sketchy, you know.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
it was cool, man.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I
too.
don't think the show that we went to where we met Nuria was a Basel show. It wasn't where Oli played. It was during COVID, but it wasn't during Basel. It was before
Mm.
that. I'm remembering now.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy because there's so many things going on. So.
Sure.
But yeah, it wasn't a Basel show that I know.
And out of all the crazy things going on and that you've done together, can you tell me like what would be the one thing that you're most proud of as working together as a couple?
I mean, the band for sure. I mean, I think it's the one that allows us the most freedom, you know, and it's funny because people will look at us and they book us. They're like, oh, this sweet little duo.
Oh, this is so cute.
And then we're like at this place and
Like,
we're
did you
just
listen to
sitting,
us?
we're just sitting waiting to play, and then we play, and then I know people just look at us like, what just happened?
Sorry.
So I think it's the place where we kind of like let it all out.
Mhm.
And
It allows, yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
it's a totally different outlet than the painting than everything else we do. While it is organized, I know, you know, when we play, I know there's like this whole other thing that happens that even I think we both don't know what it is because we're just like in a bubble. So I do know that it's a great feeling,
Mm-hmm.
you know, something we didn't plan also to happen, I think, as a band. Because when we first started, like you said, it was more improvisational, and then I think when we came back from like the first tour in New York and Maryland and everything, I was like, I feel like we need to add lyrics. So then I started doing more and putting the compositions together and stuff like that. And then he just kept on being okay with adding the drums to whatever chaos I was making.
Well, yeah. She would make something, and then I would just put drums to it, and then the parts just come together. Like we do this as many times, you know, and then that's all it was. It's just building a song.
You guys work well together, that's for sure.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun. But yeah.
Yeah, we like playing. It's fun. We like it so much, but it's like we're like, okay, let's. I guess we try not to be excited about it for some reason. I don't know. I think we put all that energy into when we perform.
Sure. Anything coming up that you want to talk about? Like any releases? Are you guys working on any new music?
I have some new songs I've been writing. I don't have a date on when I'm releasing them. I think I'm taking more time into, I guess, holding on to them because we've released like 7 albums. I'm always like, oh my God, I don't, like, I tell him, I go, oh my God, I have to remember all these songs. So
yeah, and I also think we also want to re-release one of our albums, our album
Thanks
Thanks
Theo from 2016 is like, I don't know, 18 songs.
It's an 18-song album.
I think we want to
I want to remix
re-record and remix some of them.
Not re-record. I just want to remix it.
Okay.
You have all the raw files, all the stuff?
Yeah.
Somewhere.
I just I've just learned a lot since then, and I hear the new recordings now, and I hear that one. I'm like, oh fuck, this needs to be.
Well, we had a lot of stuff going on in 2016. Now that like we look back, I'm like, oh my god, it's like little hamsters who were on wheels, and I think now we still have stuff going on, but it's like we're like, okay, do this. We don't have to run.
Pace yourself.
Schedule this. You know, like it. I think at a time 2016 was like there's still a lot going on in Miami, but I think it's hard to imagine Miami with not everything. You know, like a lot of people come to Miami and there's all this activity and all this great stuff, but there was all these people making it happen. I'm sure you know, and I think I wouldn't say we were all running, but we were all there like, oh my God, this is there and I have to go to this event, and now I think we still do, but we figure out how to like navigate through it and stuff like that. So I feel there was a lot going on in 2016, with Miami. So
and the recording of that album was going on through 2015, and because the release of it was February of 2016,
okay.
So the album was done in December 2015. So whatever was going on in Miami 2015 is like the because everything from January till February was nothing but promoting and getting the word out. Like the work was done. So or the recording part. So whatever 2015.
And we have some
Miami
shows. We have a show this weekend, and we have a show in April.
Where's the one in April?
It's actually in Coconut Grove, in I don't even know.
It's like the corner of Douglas and Grand.
That whole area is being revamped.
There's like an open lot there, which is where if the address is right, it's happening in that open lot, and if it is, that's gonna be so awesome.
And it looks like they have like
Is it like a legit show, or is it like guerrilla style? You guys are like set.
No, it's a legit show. I think they've been doing events there.
Every
I think
2
they
months.
have vendors.
Oh, gotcha.
I think they have like a stage, but it's more outside. But they've created like a stage.
Nice.
So
It's a series, it's like a series.
I think there's like 4 other bands playing, 5 other bands.
Yeah.
So it should be a cool space. I think it's going to be a cool space, cool event.
Very cool. Sounds awesome. I know your show this weekend is at the club, but when this comes out, that may have
It'll be
already
after,
passed.
yeah. But the club is a great place to check out if you haven't, and it gets rowdy sometimes, so it's fun. It's a fun energy if you haven't gone to check it out.
For sure.
It's like a Churchill's, mini Churchill's, but the energy is
It's only the bar
just as
of
big.
Churchill's. That's what it seems like. That bar, that one strip right there. If you're beelining down that bar, that's basically what you're living.
Pool tables where it's
Exactly. Just that one.
But I think the energy of what Churchill's
that's what it
was,
is.
allowing a lot of people to come in and do stuff. Not, some places are very specific about the bands that play. This is still allowing a lot of things going on, a lot of activity and stuff like that. Cool. So
it's like if that bench in the front by the pool table was taken out and the band's played right there.
Gotcha.
That's what it would be.
Yeah, I remember the first time we played there, I was like, this is...
My drum set's not going to fit.
Yeah. And then we played, and the energy was great, so...
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's fun because everyone's right up to here, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
they're right in your face, and that's always a fun show when people are, sweating on your cymbal.
Well, what about the first time you played at Churchill's? Can you talk about that real quick?
The funny thing is I don't remember when the first time was. I know we've played Churchill's a lot, so I'd have to look to see when the first time was. But I know for me it was like a big deal because I used to go watch a bunch of bands there, and I used to go support Tony, and even before Tony and I dated in high school, I used to go see bands there. So for me it was a big deal. He started playing at Churchill's when he was in high school, I believe.
It was 95. My first time playing at Churchill's was in 95. I was playing with Buda Gonzalez in the Haze, which, David Gonzalez, he's out here. He's one of the promoters out here in Miami. But it was fun. It was a show with Spam All Stars when they were, rocking out like the Violent Femmes in a sense, Cook Spam on stage.
Yeah, I remember that. So it's for me, Churchill's. Yeah, it was cool
fun
to be a part of it, and we have tons and tons of photos at Churchill's, and we've played there.
It's fun. That was always a fun spot.
I know you're going to be in that documentary that's coming out.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm excited. I don't know what's in it, but we shall see.
Yeah.
April 12th.
Very cool.
But everyone has a different story from that place. You know what I mean? Like, so everyone's got a different group they went with.
No, and they've been so many transitions of Churchill's, so we'll see.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for taking the time and coming out here to talk with us today, and really excited to have you involved in this because I obviously have considered you a power couple in the community for a long time, and I appreciate what you all do, you know.
Thanks.
Thank you
Yeah, it's
so
cool.
much
Thanks for having us.
for that title.
Thanks. Yeah.
Nice to be included with the other people, so thanks.
Awesome, you guys. We'll be looking out for you in the club and also at the Grove in.
I forgot the name. I think it's called Andrew's House. Andrew's House, maybe?
Okay, that's in April. What's the date on that again?
April 27th?
Okay, very cool.
I don't know the time.
Very cool. Thank you guys. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Bye.